today we are having a special release that is dedicated to the International Women's Day. We are very often talking about applying technology to the exciting fields, to the ones where AI would shine. But there are also areas where the real world problem kick in. And those are the ones that can benefit from applying AI to it.
We want to help families tackling the whole family management from different angle, bringing modern tools and modern technology like AI on a level that it would serve families to educate themselves. Out of health statistic, we do know that 1 out of 3 women with kids under the age of 6 runs burnout. We do know that this has transgenerational impacts on kids and on the whole path of the domino effect of the generations coming. So talking about allyship today and how allyship in partnerships can help lift the burden is super, super important.
Welcome to AI Ketchup, the podcast catching up with the tech products that matter in the AI era.
Welcome to the episode of the AI Ketchup podcast. Today we are joined by Rosaria Di Donna. She has been working on $1 billion business of Microsoft 365. And then she has decided to do a bold pivot into dealing with family tech. She has a global team of experts and family health advocates that are backed up by the German Federal Ministry. And at the same time, she is willing to tackle the 2 trillion unpaid family care market in FamilyMind.ai. Rosa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ellie. I feel so special being on this show with you. And thank you for digging deeper into family tech. It's not something that everybody has on his mind.
My pleasure as well to tackle the topic. But let's start from the very beginning and let's reflect on how you have been transitioning to the current role of the founder at FamilyMind. So you have been in a thriving career at Microsoft. When was the moment when you have realized that, well, I do want to deal with family management and also apply technology to it?
So I have to admit, I love Microsoft. It's still so close to my heart, and Microsoft has given me so many things, not only from a personal experience, a growth experience, a mindset experience, friends, colleagues, everything. It rather was a decision which I felt in my belly. At one point in time, I was responsible for the modern work and security ecospace in Germany, and I was the partner strategy lead. So I was responsible for all the partners, making sure that they could contribute to Microsoft strategies, and in the meanwhile, it would be a win-win situation. So for me, productivity and how families or employees work was what I was leading. So that was my specialty. But at some point in time, as you were asking, there was this pivoting point. And interestingly, the pivoting point to why I now care for families and their burdens wasn't when I became a mother. So when I became a mother, I returned back full time after a couple of months. And everything was totally fine. And the reason why it was fine was because I had a fantastic manager who was really backing my back. But as managers go and organization change, my setup also changed. And then I realized that it is really dependent on the people you work with. And then it started that I was becoming quite annoying by the fact that we were rolling out Copilot at Microsoft, and I could see this AI in the corporation world thriving. And I really was asking myself, and by the way, in every town hall we had, when is the Copilot coming for me? To help me privately, to really help me increase my productivity and efficiency from a employee perspective, but now as a family manager. Because I did see when I was handling together with my husband and also our extended family ecosystem, like somebody doing our household chores or buying groceries for us or the nanny. So I could see that there were tons of inefficiency. And so while I was asking in town halls, when is Copilot coming to my private life, I never got a reply. And the reason for that is also quite clear. I'm a businesswoman. I understand AI is super, super expensive. It's super expensive. So you need to really get the business case going. And the business case is B2B in corporations. So I understood why there was no answer for me, but on the same side, it was quite clear that that's now my space. And with that idea, I felt it more as a purpose to now serve families, and not as in the past, partners, corporations, customers, but rather see this broad potential that we could bring to society if we relieve the burdens of families. And there were other two tiny things, but I think they had a big impact as well. By this time that I really was annoyed, I was reading a lot. I read two books which still stung with me, and I want to share them with you because I really believe these are books that should be read by anybody. And one of them is Momo by Michael Ende, or in English said Michael Ende. And Momo is a fantastic young girl with a special gift, and she can truly listen to the people around her. And with this ability, she truly listens to all the pains and undergoing things that a society has. And this made me really tune to my surroundings. So not only my family, but my friends, to truly listen what's going on. And also when I was at Microsoft, I really started listening to my colleagues. What's the noise beside what they work and what our connection is at work? And the other book that I read, which was also really mind-blowing for me, was Alle Zeit, so all the time, from Teresa Brücker. And she has more a drastical view on how time management should be a political topic, because it is well known that time for upper class people has a different meaning than time has for underclass people. So the time, how much we really spend on doing things, and you said it as well, the unpaid labor work is also bound to time. And these two things came together. I would say this was the birth of Family Mind in my brain.
So the puzzle has clicked. Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. What would be definitely the case for many listeners? Because that is something that I hear from my friends, from my colleagues. Being an entrepreneur is risky. Trying to turn your passion into something that you will earn the money with is challenging. So how can one indeed embrace being a family member that is present, at the same time not concerned about what the day tomorrow will bring, and at the same time being able to pursue the certain problem space that this person wants to explore, this curiosity kick? What would you say with regards to how to combine driving the company, creating the innovative technological product in the space where not many products are available, and at the same time prioritizing and paying attention to family members of yours?
Ali, this question has multiple levels. And let me start with the first one I want to address. So first of all, I'm super privileged. Yeah. And I'm privileged in a way that I have a German passport. I'm privileged that I have a husband supporting me in every means. And we've been together since 18 years, so very, very long time. So we've been studying together. We've been making our career paths together. For us, equality is just infused in our relationship. And with that, I'm privileged because his words were, now it's your time and my time will come. So having his back, similar as I had the back of my manager at Microsoft, truly gave me the freedom and space to dig into this field. And on the other side, it is risky, 100%. So I'm 39, I'm turning 40 this year. I have two kids coming soon, so 1.5, the other one is coming. But being a founder with that specs makes me the only in the room. And I think this is also something which needs to be addressed. It doesn't have to be like that. It's the pressure we put in our heads, because being the only is just a thing. It is like it is, but someone has to be the only to really go that path. So I would always say there is a third level, And I think this is the strongest, which I want to give to you and also to the audience. I really believe that we are here on earth to serve our purpose. Because only if we, every human, fulfills their need to serve our earth, we bring the biggest potential to this world. And what I mean by that is, yes, I had a fantastic career. I had so much fun. It was great. But I was not living up to my purpose by the time. And with Family Mind, I truly feel it in everybody, in every body piece that I have, that this is what I need to drive. And it is, as you said in the beginning, the puzzle just clicked. The puzzle clicked from many perspectives. It clicked from the experience, it clicked from the competencies, it clicked from my personality, it clicked from my network. It just clicked. So I'm feeling right now at the right place. And I guess this is also something driven by the life and the milestones you hit in your life. So for somebody, it could feel the right place to be in a corporate career, 100%. But the thing is that we need to be graceful with ourselves and allow us to also listen to us if it's not the right place anymore. And we do feel this. And this is not only related to a corporate career, it could be also related to relationships with friends, with family, with your partner. You always have this feeling of, yes, I'm being in the right place. And if you're not in the right place, be graceful and really elaborate what is it that is hindering you to really fulfill your purpose here on earth. So I would say these are these three things that for me make my entrepreneurial journey very unrisky, because in my head there is not a single thought that I could fail, because it's a huge learning experience that I'm on. And if it's not with Family Mind, it will be something else. But I truly feel that I'm on the right path right now.
I'm pretty sure that for many people, the strong push that you are having coming from the components that, well, you're describing this as the privilege, I would describe it also as big and deep gratitude, but at the same time also having the willingness and the drive to solve a big problem. It is not something that everyone possesses, and I really, really like that you're embracing this in you, and that is so beautiful.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for saying this. Oh, I'm blushing.
I think that from the perspective of how you operate, we are getting to the tip of the iceberg. But when it comes to Family Mind AI, let's actually look into the features that you're currently working on. How are you approaching this task of yours for making family management simpler and easier, and probably with lower cognitive overload? What are the things that you are tackling first and building into the app?
So we are sprinting all the time. And for us, it's really important to develop a customer-centric product. So everything that we are doing is based on what our customers want. And that's really important. So, of course, many of your listeners, or maybe not, have read the Lean Startup. And that's really the baseline. So we test, and then we build, and then we ship. And so what we are currently having to solve our family's daily challenges is that we are embedding AI in a multi-AI agent system. So every AI agent basically serves one exact task of our families. And just to give you an example, so families struggle a lot with mental load, and mental load is such a huge thing. But we have one dedicated AI agent which really is able to retrieve the mental load. You just chat with him and he gathers the to-do out of it. And by being able to just get all these tabs in your head out in a system helps our families. So we have a planner, an AI-driven and AI-powered planner, an AI-powered family chatbot, which is fueled by AI data. And this data, as you were saying in the beginning, yes, we are governmental backed. And also this data is coming from the government, Bundesamt für Statistik. So we do know what families really struggle with. And there is one misconception that I really want to share with you and your audience is, yes, families are unique. But we learned, also coming from data, but also from our interviews with our customers, that 85% of struggles families have are the same. So by training our AI with this sameness of families, we are really able to provide an application for our families which is dedicated for their pains and their needs. And as we are growing, we are expanding our AI agents. And as we are growing, for us, it's not only an application that we are delivering, but we also have a strong partner network with coaches for families, with there are many non-profit organizations like Bundesverband für Vereinbarkeit. So really tackling the problem that families face currently in balancing work and family life as one, to really see it as a whole ecosystem. So we're not only building AI-powered family assistant, but rather helping families in educating themselves of how to use modern technologies jointly with partners. And so far we have gained 35 partners in our ecosystem. And it is bigger than somebody would see when looking us up, but we're coming there. So we are not only an AI-powered app, but rather an ecosystem where we want to tackle the burdens of families from different angle and really work together. Because at some point in time, it's also a political matter. So family issues, family politic need to be a priority, because also when you look up at the statistical data or burden a whole society has. So there's just one number which always drives me insane, is that there is 58 billion unpaid work based on the shoulders of women. And you were saying it. So if these women wouldn't do the unpaid work, our whole economy would collapse. And this is something that has been driven by centuries of centuries. And we are now at the tipping point where women want often more than kids. They want to have kids' career. We're getting kids at a later stage. So you are used to the kind of lifestyle. But this kind of lifestyle currently, also when you look into health data, really drives women at their tipping point. So every third woman with kids under the age of 6 has burnout. And burnout is not even a diagnosis. Burnout is an umbrella of many diagnoses. So we are serving with a product, we are part of a solution, but this solution needs to be more than just an app. It needs to have strong collaborations with partners, also in the political ecosystem. So we are stepping into something that is just bigger than an app.
I see. And at the same time, I can fully grasp the need for the extra educational effort, for the effort of connecting different stakeholders with each other, starting with psychologists, some general practitioners, and up to the level of probably even police, because we're still having so many cases of
femicide. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. However, if I would take a step back and I would be thinking that, well, here is Family Mind and I'm opening the app. There are certain things that you probably can tackle with technology and certain things that you would probably better tackle with someone else or in some other ways. So where do you draw the borderline? And where do you define, okay, this is something that we are indeed adding to our sprint, and that is something that the family should probably solve on their own. And the third category would be, well, we would like to inform our partners that that is the burning issue. Please pay attention to that and maybe provide some resources to solve that.
I can give you one exact example. So when we were launching our beta app, we didn't think much of analytics. And with analytics, I don't mean how we would track the engagement in our app or how we would track the pipeline. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about family analytics, family data that we want to provide to the family. We had this dashboard in the app that stated how many tasks were delivered by each family member. And we had this one family, because we always have multiple users from one family into the app. So it's not only the mother on the app, it's really the ecosystem where this family is embedded in, because then the true value of the efficiency and productivity increases are released. By one day, we got a screenshot. Hey, my household is equal. And the second screenshot that we got a couple of hours later was, well, it's not equal. I'm doing this and this and this and this and this. And basically, she was doing the preparation for the birthday. She was doing the packing for the vacation. She was doing the appointments for the doctors. And there was two more, so 5. And the 5 from her partner were basically the grocery list items. So buying milk, water, butter, fruit, and toilet paper. That I remember. That I remember very, very, very specific. And that was for us a tipping point, because clearly we could have done maybe a better job in evaluating what is more urgent and not more urgent, what is more a bigger task or less bigger task. But we said, no, we have done our job in bringing transparency to this inefficiency in discrepancies in partnerships. And still, at the same time, we learned that this is something, of course, we could now embed an emotional AI agent to help the family really tackling this emotional burden and conflict resolution, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe this will be even on the path of our features some point in time. But we learned here and there specifically that that's topic that need to be tackled personally within a family. These two partners need to talk about it, that their distribution of task is unequal. We gave the platform to showcasing it, that it was unequal. And there are many other these tiny examples where we say, yes, that's what we can do with modern technology. That's our current purpose. That's our current stage of the product. We do know that there will be in the future more advanced situation where we could even be a conflict resolution manager and even be the leading app to provide divorces. You never know. But so far, we are clearly saying that's not what we want to provide at this stage of time, but rather say it needs the human behind AI and especially the bonding. And with FamilyMind AI, our true vision, it is to give families time back for what really matters. We don't want to have families more on their technical devices. We rather want to have them less with the automations, efficiency, and productivity increases to really start having this tough conversation, but to invest in bonding and what really matters for them. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, and I'm now thinking through whether I could imagine an AI that could resolve the issue with inequality. Honey, look, the phone has told me that we are unequal and we should do this and this and this. What do you think about it?
No, as you were saying, that comes in, that could be a practitioner helping them. So if they really see they would need help, then it's not up to an app to provide a therapy structure or a communication plan. It's rather something that you want to be guided through. And we strongly believe that we then have the competences in our ecosystem to serve these families as well. And there are other challenges. You could make the same example with the relationship that a parent has to their kids. They're also sometimes, struggling, and then you would need somebody else, but not an app. So we rather see us as a platform with an ecosystem to serve family where they're at on their journey.
And if a certain listener thinks, well, I'm not sure that I have issues. It looks like it's all right. At least it's like, we are both stressed, both parents, maybe kids a bit, but that is normal.
It's normal.
Right? Yeah. Where would you say here is 1, 2, 3 red flags that this listener should pay attention to? And in this case, is actually download the app and start using FamilyMind?
So usually what you're describing, and I'm now sorry, I'm talking in stereotypes, but from our customer interviews, and we do 360 interviews, so we not only interview one part of a partnership or of a family, we interview multiple people within a family, even kids if they are the age above 16. And usually what you're describing is the husband. So there are also studies out there and research has been done that men do have a different kind of mental load and don't understand the mental load of women. And the cause of that is that we as women have been trained by society already at the age of 2 to learn how to care. So usually you were caring about your puppets, you were doing a tea party with your puppets. These are all things that we as women have embedded since we are very, very little. And this discrepancy is also reflected in how partnerships evolve these days. So this is one information I want to give you. If you think about, dear listener, that you see discrepancies also coming from society, you might want to change this, and also thinking about future generations, because there's one additional data point I want to share with you is that if a parent really suffers from a mental disease like burnout, anxiety disorders, etc., the transgenerational effect it will have on your kids is 5 times higher. So we do see this as prevention. You don't have to be already in pain to have more time with your family, but already knowing that there are some statistical matters that will kick in as soon as some domino effects hits is already really important to know. And the third thing that I want to say is it's fun. So we are already embedding some gamifications in the app. So it's not only about improving your efficiency at home or productivity, because I'm saying these words much too often. It's also about making it, again, light and easy. And the tools out there that we are seeing that our families currently use, they are complex, they are big, they are huge. They're not for this target audience because family tech is currently really not well served. So if you want to bring fun and lightness into your family management, that could be also a very nice reason why joining us on our journey. And we are so grateful for every user that we get, because from every user we learn and try to bring the product or try to develop the product that is really helping to make family fun as well.
Germany, though, is for sure not the simplest market to start with when it comes to family management. We should check probably the number, but I think that approximately 25% of people living in Germany are having certain immigration background, meaning that at least their parents were born not in Germany, and that definitely impacts how families are being perceived and what is considered as right and what is considered as equal. So when you are willing to provide a recommendation to a family on how the distribution of tasks should be, because it is also not about the number, as we have seen with the dad who restrict the system, but it is also about understanding, okay, we sort of deviate from, as you were describing, we have the general statistics on families, and then we can see, okay, here we are probably, if I could say, not matching the average. What is this average like? Because for families coming from different backgrounds, it will be different.
I'm 100% with you. So cultural effects do hit in. I'm half Italian. So when I talk to my Italian part of the family, to my cousins and how they manage family, they would never even think about giving away this knowledge and power of being the mom. So I agree with you. That's why we say that we target already families who want to be on that path, who clearly see, I want to be me. I don't want to put my needs aside, because that's often what women do. So we are really addressing families who want to change how they have been running the family in the past, or they want to change the generational way how families have been run in their families, because they might have seen their mothers not working, or they might have seen their fathers stepping up a lot and being maybe at home. So we are tackling families who have this sense, I would call it, to do things differently, because the cultural effects that we do see in different markets, in thinking about our business, how we are approaching different markets, is for us super relevant. that even if we would launch in a country like Italy, we would still be addressing the families that are already on the journey and trying to really help them navigating, educating themselves how they could thrive and break transgenerational effects. What do you think about it? So how would you perceive it with your background?
To be honest, my definition of equality is definitely very different to the common one in Germany, because I'm Ukrainian and I'm used to Eastern European lifestyle. And I'm very grateful for having a family where, well, my parents are together for, 30 or something years, and they love each other. It is such a magnificent thing to observe. And each and every time I'm asking, okay, where is the trick? What is your secret? Ha, ha, ha. That is the answer. Thank you. Thank you.
Not helping.
No secrets. No secrets. And yeah, my mom is doing a lot of unpaid work, that's for sure. And she's fully employed. And yeah. That is why my upbringing is very much like that. And I don't know how it should be differently. And
but
that
that's
is
great.
The challenge for me is that I do proactively try to define where the bias comes into the play. And I also think about, okay, how my behavior right now impacts that. Do I indeed convey certain societal bias that shouldn't be there? Don't I? But yeah, that is definitely not a simple question to answer.
But already asking these questions around biases and thinking about societal biases, and there are many, many more, I think that's so important and super strong, because it makes you aware that there is something that you want to think about it. So I really like this.
What I'm also curious about is that at least when I present certain projects within the AI space, and then I'm discussing that is a technology that can solve burning real world problems, and we are so far not solving enough with the technology. I'm very often getting the response, oh, but AI will only amplify bias. So then when I'm thinking about a certain tool that will be providing the recommendation, it has seen whatever is the number of years that the humankind is existent. It will reflect on how families interacted with each other, how, well, we didn't have that many examples of, for example, families having monogamous relationships, and that would be also reflected within the recommendations that AI is given. So that is something where I would be curious on how you handle the cultural aspect, the aspect of responsible AI, and how do you see that changing? Was the time when AI definitely is getting even more and more adoption in our daily life. How do you think the technology will change the family management?
So you're talking about something very important, and it's for us, we call it ethical AI. So we in our founder team had many, many discussions around it. And you're saying is, yes, you are right. We are training based on historical data, and we want to change that. But still, the recommendations are biased based on historical data. And the thing is that, said in the beginning, we are backed by governmental grants. And with these grants, we have a strong collaboration with the Technical University of Munich. And there we have one professor, Dr. Groh, who is doing a social AI, also empathetic AI and ethical AI. And there is another professor, Dr. Prachna, who is also really embedded into how to make something scalable and overcome such biases. So with both guidance of these mentors, we really hope to tackle these questions. And it's nothing that I would have an answer for it right now, because it's a research field, a huge research field. But being at the core of this research and having this mentorship at least gives me a kind of peace of mind that being on it in such an early stage of our product and already tackling these questions from the very beginning. And this is not only the ethical AI questions that we are tackling from the beginning, we also are tackling privacy and cybersecurity things from the first coding line, because that's built on trust. So our product, our customers, our families, they're trusting us. And yeah, we have a responsibility to make it right. So I cannot give you an answer, but rather showcase you how we are tackling it with our co-founders and what we are doing to overcoming it. So if you or anybody out there has some advice or wants to be a sparring partner for us, we would love to have talks around these topics because we feel like they are underdressed. So when you look out for these discussions of AI product owners, you don't hear often somebody talking about ethical AI. So thank you for highlighting this, Ellie.
It is not simple to talk about that. We can talk about numbers, we can talk about benchmarks, we can talk about latency numbers. But ethics is definitely not a simple topic to target. And you have now mentioned something interesting that, well, you are open to the open conversation on how AI should be applied when it comes to family management. Where should it help? Where shouldn't it? You are also gathering the beta testers, right, for the app. And you have already mentioned that, well, you will be very grateful for having anyone joining the beta testing program. Is there a specific target audience except for the people that are willing to make their families, well, would you say that there is something extra that, well, this person should feel like, oh yeah, that is something that I should do together with Rosa?
Yeah. So when we were conducting our initial problem interviews, we really conducted them quite broad because families, as you were saying in the beginning, they are different. So you have a multitude of different family groups, we even called them, and we came up with over 40. And just to give you an example, what I'm talking about is you can define a family where one partner is working, the other one is staying at home. You have a family where you have a patchwork family, combination of many families. You have families where the kids have been raised by the grandparents. You have families where you have a widowed partner, and still it's a family. So there are these multitude single working moms, single working dads. So you have multitude of different kind of families. But we realized quite fast that the people that we could serve more and the best would be if both people or both partners are working. So we are targeting currently specifically working parents because we see that the time that they have for unpaid care work for their children or for relatives or for themselves is very, very limited. So call out to the audience if you are a working parent, and it doesn't matter whether you work full-time, part-time, it doesn't matter. You do have two kind of works. One is a paid work and the other one is unpaid, but your time in really caring is a different one. It's time bombed, time boxed even. So you would benefit the most from our current version of the application. Currently, this sweet spot of educating working parents with a, how do we call it, with a, in German the word is Strahlkraft, which means like the aura of this also in corporations is something that we are tackling. So we are serving ourselves and as a B2B2C product. So we want to bring corporations into the responsibility to serve 2/3 of their employees, which are parents, because we really believe if corporations invest in family assist programs, and an app is just one part of such a family assist program, the whole employees are much, much more healthier, resilient, costs can be reduced, downside time can be reduced. So the benefits for corporations to level up their responsibility is very, very huge. And with us, targeting working parents is one step into this market, but also into learning from what they really need and what a corporation would also need for such a product.
I love your openness for feedback, and I love your willingness to cater to different needs, to different audiences. I'm pretty sure that folks that will sign up for the waitlist that we will include in the show notes would have fun with you.
You're welcome.
And I think that LinkedIn is your best channel to approach you at,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Since we're targeting working parents, our whole lead generation is currently fueled on LinkedIn. We do have presence in other socials, but we do see that this is the main audience that we can turn around and where we can benefit the most. Yeah.
Makes sense. Then including your LinkedIn profile also into our show notes. And Rosa, is there something that you would like to give as a small task for all the working parents who are listening to us? A small fun challenge.
The most fun challenge for me right now would be not using any app, but rather spend the time outside with your kids or your relatives. Really make all the minutes that you have caring fun, because that what actually fuels us with energy. And yes, if we can give you more minutes back, then you're more than welcome.
Wonderful advice, Rosa. Thanks a lot for your time, and thanks a lot for tuning in.
Thank you, Ellie, for having me. It was awesome. Thanks.
AI Ketchup brings the news. Tech solutions users can't refuse.